beg your pardon.
Why?
I beg your pardon.
Why? What is your name, sir? Jack.
There should be a captain there somewhere. Surely,
Prove it.
Prove it.
Yeah, go on. What's happened to you, sir?
Early childhood trauma.
Who hurt you? Who hurt you?
She did.
What makes a great Ebenezer Scrooge? Is it the cold expression, the sharp voice, the lonely old man counting every coin? Or is it something much deeper? For nearly 2 centuries, A Christmas Carol has remained one of the world's most beloved stories. At its heart is Ebenezer Scrooge, a man who begins his journey consumed by bitterness, but ends it transformed by compassion. It's one of literature's greatest character arcs, and over the years, countless actors have brought Scrooge to life. Each performance has revealed something different. Some emphasized his cruelty, others focused on his loneliness. Some portrayed him as frightening, others as deeply tragic. That raises an intriguing question. If Johnny Depp were ever to play Ebenezer Scrooge, what kind of Scrooge would he create? To be clear, there has been no official announcement that Johnny Depp has been cast as Ebenezer Scrooge. This is a creative exploration based on his acting style, his body of work, and the kinds of characters he has portrayed throughout his career. Because looking at Johnny Depp's filmography, one thing quickly becomes clear. He has always been drawn to complicated people. Characters who cannot be understood at first glance. People hiding pain behind silence. Loneliness behind confidence. Kindness beneath strange appearances. Whether playing misunderstood outsiders, eccentric visionaries, or deeply conflicted individuals, Depp often searches for the humanity inside every role. That approach makes an interesting case for Scrooge. Many people think of Ebenezer Scrooge as simply a greedy old man. But Charles Dickens created someone far more complex. Scrooge wasn't born cruel. He became isolated. He pushed people away. He allowed fear to replace love. His wealth became a wall separating him from the world. The story isn't really about money. It's about emotional distance. It's about regret. And ultimately, it's about redemption. These emotional layers are exactly what make the character timeless. Because beneath Scrooge's harsh words is a man haunted by his past. A man who buried his compassion so deeply that even he forgot it existed. That emotional journey demands an actor capable of showing both darkness and vulnerability, not one after the other, but often at the same time. Looking back at Johnny Depp's career, emotional complexity has always been one of his defining strengths. His performances rarely rely on dramatic speeches alone. Instead, he often communicates through silence, a glance, a pause, a slight change in expression. Sometimes the quietest moments reveal the deepest emotions. That subtle style could offer a fascinating interpretation of Scrooge. Rather than portraying him as a one-dimensional villain, the focus might shift toward a man trapped inside years of emotional isolation. Someone who desperately needs redemption, even before he realizes it himself. Perhaps that's why this casting idea continues to spark the imagination of movie fans. Not because Johnny Depp would simply play Scrooge differently, but because he might reveal parts of the character that audiences have never fully seen before. In this documentary, we'll explore why Johnny Depp's unique acting style could make him one of the most compelling Ebenezer Scrooges ever imagined, and how his creative approach might bring new life to one of literature's greatest characters. To understand why Johnny Depp could be an unforgettable Scrooge, we first need to understand how he builds a character. Many actors begin with the script, the dialogue, the plot, the scenes. Those elements are essential. But truly memorable performances often begin somewhere much quieter. With questions. How does this person think? What do they fear? What memories shaped them long before the story begins? What pain do they hide from the world? These invisible questions are often what separate an ordinary performance from a legendary one. Looking throughout Johnny Depp's career, he has consistently approached characters as complete human beings. Not as heroes, not as villains, but as people. People with contradictions. People carrying emotional scars. People searching for something they may not even understand themselves. Ebenezer Scrooge is exactly that kind of character. At the beginning of A Christmas Carol, he appears cold, unforgiving, emotionally distant. But beneath that hard exterior lies years of disappointment, loss, loneliness, and regret. Those emotions aren't obvious. They're buried. A convincing performance depends on making the audience feel that hidden weight, even during the character's harshest moments. This is where Johnny Depp's acting style becomes especially interesting. He has often relied on subtle expressions rather than dramatic speeches. A slight movement of the eyes, a quiet pause before speaking, a change in posture, a single expression that tells the audience more than pages of dialogue ever could. Imagine Scrooge sitting alone in his office. The room is silent. The fire burns low. Snow falls outside the window. Without saying a single word, the audience already understands that this is a man imprisoned by his own isolation. That kind of storytelling requires restraint. It requires confidence. It requires trusting silence as much as dialogue. Another reason Johnny Depp could offer a unique interpretation is his remarkable ability to balance darkness with humanity. Throughout his career, many of his most memorable characters have lived somewhere between those two worlds. They may appear strange, broken, or misunderstood. Yet audiences continue to care about them because they recognize something deeply human beneath the surface. Scrooge demands exactly that balance. If the character feels only cruel, his transformation loses meaning. But if the audience quietly senses the lonely man hiding underneath, every moment of redemption becomes far more powerful. That emotional shift is the heart of Charles Dickens' story. It isn't simply about changing behavior. It's about recovering compassion, recovering hope, recovering the part of yourself that life slowly buried beneath fear and disappointment. Johnny Depp has often shown that he understands characters who live behind emotional masks, people who struggle to express what they truly feel, people who hide vulnerability behind unusual behavior. Those qualities could make his version of Scrooge feel less like a traditional villain and more like someone desperately waiting to rediscover his humanity. Perhaps that is what makes this idea so fascinating. Not because Johnny Depp would completely reinvent Scrooge, but because he might remind audiences that every bitter person has a story, every hardened heart was once open, and every redemption begins with understanding the pain that came before it. In the next chapter, we'll imagine how Johnny Depp's signature creativity, from his voice and physical performances to his attention to the smallest details, could transform one of literature's most iconic characters into something both familiar and entirely new. One of Johnny Depp's greatest strengths has never been simply playing a character. It's creating a world around that character. Long before the audience hears the first line of dialogue, they already understand who that person is. Through posture, through movement, through silence. These details may seem small, but together, they shape everything. Imagine Ebenezer Scrooge walking through the streets of Victorian London. He doesn't rush. He doesn't smile. His shoulders are slightly hunched. His hands remain tightly clasped behind his back. Every step feels measured, deliberate, as though every movement has been repeated for years. Without saying a single word, the audience understands they're looking at a man who has spent a lifetime carrying invisible burdens. That kind of storytelling has often defined Johnny Depp's performances. He rarely depends on dialogue alone. Instead, he allows body language to tell part of the story. A slow glance, a hesitant breath, a quiet pause before answering. Sometimes those silent moments reveal more than an entire conversation. Now imagine the arrival of the three spirits. For most actors, these scenes become moments of spectacle. But Johnny Depp might approach them differently. Rather than reacting with exaggerated fear, he could allow the audience to witness something more personal. Confusion, disbelief, then recognition. As forgotten memories slowly return, each visit would become less about supernatural events and more about confronting a lifetime of regret. Because the real transformation of Scrooge doesn't happen through magic alone. It happens through memory. Every vision forces him to face a version of himself he believed had disappeared forever. The lonely boy, the hopeful young man, the ambitious businessman, the man who slowly chose wealth over relationships. Those aren't separate people. They're all the same person, seen at different moments in life. That emotional journey demands subtlety. And subtle storytelling has always been one of Johnny Depp's greatest strengths. Another fascinating possibility lies in the character's voice. Throughout his career, Depp has shown remarkable attention to vocal rhythm. Not simply changing an accent, but changing the entire personality behind the words. A voice can reveal confidence, exhaustion, pride, fear, loneliness. Imagine Scrooge beginning the film with a cold, controlled voice. Every sentence short, every answer precise, every emotion carefully hidden. Then, as the story progresses, the rhythm begins to change. The pauses become softer. The anger becomes quieter. Warmth slowly returns to words that once sounded empty. By the final scenes, the audience wouldn't simply hear a different voice. They would hear a different man. That transformation would feel earned, not because the script tells us Scrooge has changed, but because every small detail quietly proves it. Perhaps that is what makes Johnny Depp such an interesting choice for a character like Ebenezer Scrooge. His performances often grow from the inside outward. The emotional truth comes first. Everything else follows naturally. The costume, the hairstyle, the voice, the movement. Each element serves the person beneath it. And that's exactly what Charles Dickens created. Not a symbol, not a stereotype, but a deeply human character searching for redemption. As we move into the final chapter, we'll explore why a fresh interpretation of Ebenezer Scrooge still matters today, and what Johnny Depp's artistic approach could teach us about one of literature's greatest stories. Every generation discovers its own version of Ebenezer Scrooge. That is the reason A Christmas Carol has survived for so long. The story changes with time, but its message remains timeless. Because beneath the Victorian setting, the ghosts, and the Christmas traditions, the story explores something deeply human. Can people change? Can someone who has spent years building walls around themselves find their way back to compassion? Can a person who has lost connection with the world rediscover what truly matters? These questions are the reason Scrooge continues to inspire new interpretations. And they're also the reason a potential Johnny Depp portrayal creates so much curiosity. Because the most fascinating characters are not the ones who stay the same. They are the ones who transform. Throughout his career, Johnny Depp has repeatedly been drawn toward characters who exist on the edge of society. People who are misunderstood. People who don't completely fit into the world around them. People who hide complicated emotions beneath unusual appearances. That connection makes Scrooge an interesting creative possibility. At first glance, Scrooge seems completely different from many of Depp's famous characters. He isn't an adventurer. He isn't a dreamer. He isn't a fantasy creation. He is an ordinary man. But that may actually be what makes him challenging. The greatest performances often come from finding extraordinary emotions inside ordinary situations. Scrooge's journey is not about becoming someone else. It's about remembering who he was before disappointment changed him. It's about finding the humanity that was buried beneath years of anger and isolation. A performer who understands transformation could explore that journey in a powerful way. The most memorable version of Scrooge would not simply be a frightening old man. He would be someone audiences understand, someone they may even feel sympathy for. Because the strongest characters are rarely completely good or completely bad. They exist somewhere in between. They make mistakes. They carry regrets. They have moments they wish they could change. And that is what makes them real. Perhaps the greatest opportunity in playing Scrooge is not showing his bitterness. It is showing the moment when that bitterness begins to break apart. The first genuine smile. The first moment of kindness. The first time he realizes that life is not measured by what he owns, but by what he gives. Those small emotional victories are what make this story unforgettable. And they represent something that audiences everywhere understand. It is never too late to change. It is never too late to reconnect. It is never too late to become a better version of yourself. Whether Johnny Depp ever takes on the role of Ebenezer Scrooge or not, the discussion reveals something important about great acting. The best performances are not created by simply wearing a costume or repeating famous lines. They come from understanding people, from exploring emotions, from finding the truth hidden inside a character. That is why audiences continue to imagine new possibilities for classic roles. Because legendary characters are not frozen in time. They continue to evolve through the artists who bring them to life. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson from Ebenezer Scrooge. A person is never defined only by their past. The most powerful stories are about transformation, about second chances, about discovering that even the coldest heart can still change. Thank you for joining us as we explored. Could Johnny Depp become the ultimate Ebenezer Scrooge? If you enjoyed this documentary, share your thoughts. Do you think Johnny Depp would bring something unique to the role of Scrooge? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoy cinematic stories exploring actors, characters, and creative transformations, subscribe for more documentaries. Until next time, stay curious, keep imagining, and remember, the greatest characters are not remembered because they are perfect. They are remembered because they change.